Welcome back to the third module of this unit 1, that is data analysis, and we will be talking about the graphical representation of data. Now in the previous module we already saw how we can organize the data set into a frequency distribution table, and that was because when the data was initially collected in raw form, it was not easy to derive information from it. So we tried putting it into a tabular form, which we called it as a frequency distribution table, and we were at least in a better position to derive some simple information from it, simple conclusions from it. And another way you can organize data is to put it into a graphical form or a picture form. Now why we put data into a graphical form is because we are in a better position to identify different patterns or trends that is followed by the data set. Let's say for example, if you look at this, this is a picture that we already seen before. I have the number of COVID cases, a comparison between China, this blue curve is for China with respect to the other countries. Uh, this uh, this line is for other countries. So instead of looking the this is going to be a huge data. So instead of looking at the entire data sheet, which is going to be a very large one, we just look at the picture format, and we are in a position to at least look at the patterns that are followed by this data set. Like in the case of China, you will see that the cases are increasing initially steeply, and then there's a very slow one. As compared to the other countries where initially the cases are very slow and then an exponential increase. So we see patterns, we can see the patterns that is followed by the data. We are also in a position for a quick analysis because the data is very large. It helps us in a quick analysis of the data set. It also helps us in predicting and to make informed decisions, like in the case of China or even in the other countries. By looking at the trend, we will be in a position to estimate what will be the cases, number of cases in future days. A picture form also is efficient in comparison. If I have to compare two data sets like this picture itself is an example of a comparative graph where I'm comparing China with the other countries. So a picture is good in comparing different data sets. And of course, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Now the various graphical representation that we usually use are we have a histogram, we have a bar graph, we have a scatter plot, we have a line graph, we have a frequency curve, we have a pie chart, and we have a subdivided bar graph, which is also referred to as a component bar graph. We'll briefly go in each of this graphical representation. For that, we'll recall the data set that we had considered in the previous modules. Now, this was the data which gives you the cost of meals in 50 restaurants in the city of Mumbai. Like the variable here is the cost in rupees. So, between rupees 10 to 20, there is one restaurant. That means there is one restaurant which gives you meal for rupees 10 to 20. There are 5 restaurants which give you meal for rupees 20 to 30, and so on. There are total 50 restaurants. So I want to put this into a histogram, say. Now histogram will look something like this. So what I do is I have an x-axis, I have y-axis. Now x-axis is the variable. The variable here is the cost. Okay, and the range is the cost is between 10 to 80. So accordingly, I'll run this axis from 10 to 80. The same way here, the frequencies, the number of restaurants are like 1, 5, 9, 10, 15, 7, 3. Lowest value is 1 and the highest value is 15. So what I'll do is accordingly I'll divide this y-axis from 0 to 16 so as to cover this frequency values 1 to 15. So once I have done that, what I do is I look at the first class. The first class here is 10 to 20 whose frequency is 1. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go here, and what I'll do is I'll draw a bar of height 1. Now you'll see that this is the frequency here is 1. That's why I have taken a bar of height 1. 1 is somewhere here. The same way then for class 20 to 30 the frequency is 5. So what I'll do is I'll take a bar of a height 5, and I'll draw a bar like this here. I'll draw a bar of height 5. The next frequency is 9. So I'll draw a bar of height 9. 9 is somewhere here. So I'll draw a bar accordingly of height 9. And these bars here are touching each other. They are just adjacent to each other. The next frequency is 10. So what I'll do is I'll draw a bar. 10 is here. So I'll draw a bar here like this of height 10. Next frequency is 15. So I'll take 15 is here. I'll draw a bar of height 15 like this. Okay. The next frequency is 7. So accordingly 7 is here. I'll draw a bar of height 7. Next frequency is 3. I draw a bar of height 3. So this is how I draw a histogram. The same way, like how I have a histogram, I draw a bar graph. Now the difference between a histogram and bar graph, they are exactly similar. I do the same thing like how I did yesterday, the previous slide, that is the histogram. So the first frequency was 1, so I drew a bar of height 1. Then the frequency was 5, so I drew a bar of height 5, and so on. Now the only difference is there is a spacing between these bars. Okay, like in histogram there was no spacing. These bars were touching each other. In bar graph, these bars we exactly draw similar bars, except that there is a spacing between. There is a fixed spacing between these bars. And then for each of this bar here I am labeling 10 to 20, I am writing here 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, the same way like how I did in histogram. Each of these bars, then I I write a label. Okay. So this was a histogram, this is a bar graph. The same way I can draw a scattered plot. In scattered plot what I do is I no longer draw a bar. What I do is the first frequency was 1, so accordingly I just mark a point here at 1. The second frequency is 5, so I mark a point at 5. Next frequency is 9, so I mark a point 9 at 9. The height is 9, and so on. So I draw a point based on the frequency here. I mark points here. And then instead of writing 1, 2, 3, you can also say 10 to 20, 20 to 30, and so on, like this. And the last will be 70 to 80, like that. So this is called as a scatter plot. Now scatter plot is sometimes usually used for forecasting. Suppose you want to look at a linear trend or a parabolic trend. What are the trends that are followed? This is something that we'll be discussing later. Now you'll see a line here. If I have to fit a trend to this, it will be something like this. So scattered plot is more for the sake of forecasting. This is called as a scattered plot. The next one is a line graph. So in the scattered plot, after I join these points, if I just join these points, after marking these points, I just join them, and then what I'll get is a line graph. So again the same procedure, I mark the points first and then I join them. It will be called as a line graph. Later in the next module we'll talk about, of course, when to use which graph. Right now we'll just see how to draw each one of these graphs based on the data. So this is a line graph. Next I have a frequency curve. So in the frequency, in the line graph what I did was I just joined the points. In the scattered plot, instead of joining them in straight lines, I'll make it a smoother curve like this. So if I'm doing it as a smooth curve, then what I'll get is a frequency curve. The difference between a line graph and a frequency curve is, line graph you are just joining those points with lines. Frequency curve you are joining them with a smooth curve. Then we have a pie chart. Okay. In pie chart, what we do is we have a sort of a circle. So we have a circle, we draw a circle like this, and then the total frequency here is 50. So what we do is we divide this total area into 50. Now, if you recall, I know that this is 360 degrees. So what we do is we divide this 360 degrees in 50 equal parts. Okay, or without even looking at the degrees, approximately you can divide this into 50 equal parts. Like if this is total 50 equal parts, then half of it is 25 parts. Half of that is further, this is 90 degree, the first quadrant. Then this will be 12.5 points. So if this is 12.5 points, then these are like 6.5, half of that is 6.5. So accordingly you will see that one part is like this. Now if I divide 360 degrees in 50 parts, then 360 by 50 is approximately 7. So I'm looking at 7 degrees here. So each part here will be of 7 degrees, so that it makes to 360 degrees. So what I do is, now 10 to 20, there is frequency is 1. So I take one part here like this, and this I'll mark for this 10 to 20. 20 to 30 is 5 parts. So the next 5 parts, so if this is one part, 5 parts will be something like this many. This will be 5 parts. So 20 to 30, there are 5 parts. So these are assigned to 20 to 30. Next are 9 parts. So like this I have to consider 9 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 like this. So 9 parts, let us say somewhere here. So then this part I'll mark for 30 to 40. So like this, depending on the frequencies, you are dividing this entire area in those many parts, and that is how you get this. Okay, each of this can be given a different color. Okay, so what you will see is that now this 30 to 40 is 9 parts. So accordingly here we have 9 parts. So you are dividing this total circle into 50 equal parts, and depending on the size of each class, those many parts you are assigning to that particular class. So I have 9, I have 3 here, then I have 1 part here, 1 part here, then 7 parts. So these 7 parts are here, and each of this color, then it is labeled 10 to 20. So 10 to 20 was 1 part, so this blue color is 1 part. Then 20 to 30 is 5 parts. 5 parts is here. So this brown orange color, that is 20 to 30, those are 5 parts, and so on. So this is how we draw a pie chart. The same way like how I have a pie chart, we also have a subdivided bar graph. Now here what we do is we have this. I know that the total frequency is 50. So what I have is, I have y-axis from 0 to 50 here like this, and I have only one bar here like this. I have only one bar of size of height 50. This is 50. Now if you recall, the first frequency was 1. So accordingly I draw a bar, I divide this into parts. So 1. Next frequency was 5. So accordingly I'll 5 parts, next 5 parts I divide it. Next was 9. So accordingly I draw a line at 9. Next frequency was 10. So accordingly I divide next 10 parts I consider here. So this whole 50 parts, depending on the frequency, you are dividing them. Okay, and last will be, so like this, like how you see here, there are different labelings that you can do, and depending on each of this color here, you have marked the label 10 to 20. So first is 10 to 20, frequency is 1. Next is 20 to 30, that is 20 to 30 is here 3 parts. next is 30 to 49 parts, and so on. So you're dividing the total frequency 50 into based on the classes. This is called as a subdivided bar graph, or it is also referred to as a component bar graph. Thank you.